Hey y'all, so have y'all ever watched a movie, read a book, listened to a podcast or a sermon and for the second or third time, and just each time you watch it or listen to it, you get something like completely different from it? I I ended up revisiting the first book I ever wrote, Surrender. And it's so crazy how I'm literally, it's just, I'm living out a lot of the stuff that I wrote. Like, it's ministering to me right now, and it's crazy. I've only read the first couple chapters so far this go around, and the first chapter called Church Home is so crazy because I talk about how I went through a process I think it was like sophomore year in college when I first started going to church, because I didn't grow up going to church. The closest thing I got to church growing up was Kirk Franklin's God's Property gospel album. Was the closest thing I got to church growing up. So I talk about that and just how I went through a couple of churches before I found the right church home. I went to an AME church, a Baptist church, and a non-denominational church, and ended up at one. So I talk about the process of that. And then I also talk about how kind of like the difference between going to church in person and going to church online. At the time when I wrote my book a couple years ago, I just found out about like online sermons, YouTube sermons, and online church. So I speak about that experience too, but it's just crazy revisiting it. But yeah, that was chapter 1. I just remember in college thinking like the guy who actually introduced me or tried to get me to go to church, I was just like, I don't need to go to church. I pray to God all the time. I don't need to go to church. Like, it's so funny, the mindset I had back then. But also I believe it's relatable. So yeah, if you haven't already, check out my book. Click the link in my bio. Maybe I'll do a video for each chapter or something coming up. But